Well, our first guest this morning is Mr. Petras Auštrevičius. He's a Lithuanian politician and former MEP. Sir, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. So let's just start just quickly. Any comments on yesterday's visit by the Polish president to Lithuania?
Well, it's an important, once again, demonstration of our bilateral relations, which I strongly believe what comes to Lithuania and Poland, we stand like friends, we stand like partners, and we read the situation same way, and sending a very strong message of understanding and readiness, whatever it takes. So I think the visit of President Duda is, once again, a demonstration of this kind of situation and a good relationship between two countries. And, we have to improve and make even more readiness what comes to the defense situation. And, it's really appreciated by the society once, people really need to feel more kind of security and readiness to face any kind of a situation what comes to our aggressive neighbors.
That's right. Many people say that, should Ukraine fall, the Baltics will most certainly be next. So definitely the Baltic states need all of our support, all of NATO's support. All right. Well, now let's take a look at Ukraine's ambitions to join the European Union. Besides, of course, the war in Ukraine, what kind of obstacles stand in its way to joining the European Union?
Well, in fact, it's a very symbolic, I would say, time period to reflect on Ukraine. Both Lithuania and Poland are looking towards next week's celebration of 20th years of membership in the European Union. It's already 20 years. We have achieved a lot. We have our own experience once entering the European Union, joining the family of European countries and going even deeper in for integration. Same is awaiting for Ukraine. What is probably different from us looking at Ukraine? Of course, it's more geopolitical, and more geostrategic. In all documents which were produced recently, geostrategic aspect of Ukraine's integration is emphasized much more than ours. Our integration, I would say, was based on a kind of under the platform of wind of change. Unification of Europe. Now Ukraine's accession is indeed seen as simply protection of Ukraine from Eastern aggression, from Russian interferences, from Russian attempt to dominate Ukraine. So that's why it's indeed much more geopolitical. But indeed, Ukraine in itself needs a lot of reforms and harmonization with the EU legislation. It's not one-day job. It will take time. It does. I appreciate all the Ukraine's efforts during the war to continue this, by the way, activity, which was seen by the European Commission as indeed a very impressive process in itself. Secondly, Ukraine will need a lot of investments. What comes to building up administrative capacity, changing its ability to perform as a member state of the European Union, and probably thirdly, Ukraine will need a lot of investments in the fields which have to be reformed and finally reaching up the levels or standards of the European Union. For example, environment, energy, social fields, and so on and so forth. So that's why, indeed, I see the membership of the Ukraine as kind of gradual accession, first to the single market, then probably more increasingly to some sectors or fields of the European policy, and finally politically. So to my mind, it might take time, but I see Ukraine coming as EU member state probably in a medium-term future.
All right, and just a final question. So we're looking at, there are stages of accession. The next stage, I assume, is the negotiating framework. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Hungary is going to take the torch in the European Union in July. Will Hungary block that process or delay that process unnecessarily, do you think?
Well, unfortunately, Budapest has some bilateral issues first, and Orban is very eager to present some bilateral demands to Ukraine in order to push Ukraine to make some concessions, some steps, and to give Ukraine any possibility move forward on EU integration. I think the Hungarian membership will be a bit slower time period for Ukraine's accession. But, Hungary probably must pay a certain price if it becomes a kind of demandeur towards Ukraine at times when Ukraine needs so much support and understanding from our side. For me, it's unacceptable, but it's a behavior of Orban.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen. Some experts are saying that perhaps if Hungary is in power, in that position of responsibility, they will be responsible actors and they won't try to disrupt proceedings. We'll see what happens. Mr. Auštrevičius, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Likewise. Thank you.